All right, hello and welcome everybody to New Earth Consciousness. Tanya here with Amy De Grossa. Um, so excited to get into this interview with Amy. Amy is a transpersonal life coach. She is also an associate professor at university, teaching Spanish, University of
Missouri.
Missouri. I was like, Missouri. And she studied at the School of Metaphysics, um, has a background has lots of experience with hypnotherapy and doing therapeutic ego work. And I'm just so excited to hear your story, Amy, and what you have to share with us today. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about your journey. So I know when we talked before, you're a mother. You have three children. Yes, four, three, four,
Well,
four children.
yes. Yeah.
And yeah, share with us your story because I know that there are a lot of women out there who, have the role of mother, and then the children leave, and then there's like a big blank space.
Yes.
So, yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah. That's a great invitation into the world of transformation for me because honestly, it was at that critical moment in my life where my all of my children were grown and starting to leave the house, where I really felt this a deep identity shift. And in the empty nesting experience, there was so much that happened in transformation for me. My four children are have been and are uh, perhaps one of the most purposeful experiences of my life. And most fulfilling. It has been a real joy and honor to be a mother. And with that role has come a lot of shifts of in within my identity. I was a young mom. My first child was born when I was 22 years old, so I was at it for a number of years, and there's 10 years in between them. And now my children they're grown, and they've flown, and they're on their own, doing their own brilliant, marvelous work in the world. Um, and the transitional phases of my life that I've encountered have always been marked, I think, by this sense of reckoning with myself, like, who am I and where am I headed and what is really next on my journey? And so by the time number four flew and left for college, I was at a real state of um, I don't want to say confusion. I think it was just this mm, misunderstanding maybe of all of who I was. I hadn't yet really come into the full depth of understanding all of the parts of myself. And so a friend suggested the School of Metaphysics, and it turns out that it was a really great landing place for me to start investigating because it opened the door to understand spirituality in a new way. I was raised in a Catholic family, and it was very structured,
Hmm.
and was really battling with a lot of different beliefs, and just my inner spirituality felt restless, and I was really seeking to deepen that understanding of this part of myself that I've come to know in a better way, and I've grown into understanding that that is the connection that feels most aligned to my true self.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm curious, you spent, you know, all that time pouring into your children
Mhm.
lovingly and willingly, and it was rewarding. And it takes so much energy to raise wonderful human beings. And yeah, and suddenly when it's that task or that phase is gone,
Mhm.
there's all this energy, right? Of like suddenly, and now it's just sitting with you, and you're like, oh, there's wait a minute, all this tremendous amount of energy I've been pouring into my loved ones, my beautiful children. What now? Like now I have all of what is all of this here? Did it feel like that? Did it just feel like I have so much, I still have so much I want to do and give and but now I don't have some place to put this energy that I've been, giving for so long. Did it feel like that or
Absolutely resonates with that. And as I hear you speak, I get the goosebumps because for me, it's about grief. It was a loss,
wow.
you know, in the sense that my role was shifting. I wasn't losing my children, but I was losing the idea of who I was in relationship to my children.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And yeah, so that
Thresholds. Yeah. So it's like it's definitely a phase. I love that you're speaking about this because I'm not there yet. I still have one more,
yeah.
5 more years. Um, but it reminds me of that transition from being a maiden, pre-children to becoming a mother. And there is a grief a grieving process that you have to let go of the carefree, part of yourself that was able to have all the freedom to just explore and live life. And then suddenly you become a mother and it's like, oh, everything's changed and I can't go back, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's powerful.
it really is. You know, being a mother was is an extraordinary experience, and now my oldest daughter just had a baby, so I'm a grandmother. And so from where I sit now, I'm at a new threshold where I get to observe my daughter being a mother.
Hmm.
And it's a really beautiful passage, I believe. Being going from mm, maidenhood to motherhood
Hmm.
and now passing through into grandmotherhood where I get to really witness the beauty of motherhood from a different perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, what did you notice change within you going from motherhood to, grandmotherhood or even into the, uh, menopausal years, like, that moving towards the crone, curious to know how that experience was.
Yes, it's really interesting, Tanya, because I think as soon as I recognized, wait a minute, uh-oh, my life is different now. And how am I going to respond to that? And going to the School of Metaphysics, beginning this journey, this spiritual journey, allowed me to tap into this deeper part of myself that I was exploring because the questions were existential questions that started emerging. Who am I? Where am I going? What's my purpose in life? And it was very evident to me that it was a clean slate and I was really starting over again. So it's a passage into something unknown, really, because I had been a mother for so long.
Mm,
By the time my time came anyway, for me to start searching inward. And so I would say that the recognition, the one of the first steps that happened was that I was no longer looking at the world outside of me and what needed to be taken care of outside of me. It was an invitation for me to step inside now
yeah,
and to really awaken to um, the stirrings within me.
yeah, yeah. I'm really curious about the therapeutic ego work.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like it's so interesting and I'm curious, would you say that's the same as shadow work or is it something different?
Mhm. It's akin to that, and that's a piece of it. It was definitely a part of my journey was doing shadow work. And yes, the ego work was has really been centered around healing and things that belief systems that I had carried from a young age. I grew up in a household where my parents were divorced, and I actually was raised more by my grandparents than my parents in a foreign country in Spain. So it was a lot of moving parts and pieces to me. And so I had a lot of beliefs tied into who's going to take care of me. And that really became, oh, I'm the one that has to take care of me, and not really fully understanding that at a young age. What did that really mean? Um, so becoming a caregiver and really developing a lot of codependent behaviors around taking care of other people. And so it was my mission at a very young age to take care of my mom, who suffered from depression, for example. And then it was my grandmother, and then it was my brothers, and it just, and on it went. And then it was children. And then so it led into this constant cycle of always focusing my attention outwardly on what everybody else needed.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, I developed people-pleasing tendencies and, um, you know, belief systems around abandonment, because who's going to take care of, this little girl that got left behind? Her parent couldn't take care of her, and or her parents. So, healing all of those parts of the younger aspects of myself was an opportunity for me to really understand how I was responding and reacting as an adult, as a grown woman in the world. And tapping into the idea that I've always known I've had choice, but to really let that sink in, that I have free will, that I do have choice. Not only do I have choice, but I also am responsible for the choices that I make. And do I want to uh, how do I want to live my life? And so moving, I think, into the School of Metaphysics, it filled me to a certain place. And then I realized I need something more. I need to heal some of these unresolved feelings that I have from when I was little. And I didn't really know all of what that was. But through therapy, joined a group experience. It was called PTI, and there were a series of weekends that we attended where we did it was like a group retreat. We
Mhm.
did meditation, we did these sacred circle sharings, and it was just this safe container where maybe for the first time in my life, and I was a grown woman, I
Mhm.
was able to share vulnerably in front of other people my story
Mhm.
and being witnessed and witnessing other people's journeys. Oh my goodness, I learned so much from witnessing what other people were going through in addition to myself. And so I was the recipient of the hypnotherapy processes that were embedded in the program. And as a result, because I learned so much about it, wanted to learn how to give back and be a part of other future groups. So I became a hypnotherapist so that I could volunteer in these settings, in these group settings. And for over the course of 6 years, I did that. I was a part of these
That's a
sacred.
long time. 6 years.
It was
That's
a long time. It was a long
studying
time.
and practicing and
Studying, practicing, and integrating the teachings. So it was more than just getting a certification, it was living them and embodying them, and also watching the magic that was happening in the lives of other people as they would find the subconscious beliefs that were driving their lives. And so, and me included. And so I think that this ego work for me was absolutely necessary. In other words, I almost couldn't have gone any further in the spiritual realm or in the metaphysical realm until I came back into this ego work and worked on all of these belief systems that I was living from.
yeah.
And I was able to see that and then understand the shadow aspects of myself. We learn about shadow, or my experience of this. The shadow aspects are any parts of ourselves that are harmful either to us or to other people that we're unaware of, that are, operating in the subconscious realm. And so being able to sit and journal and discover how I tended to do things to seek love and operate in in a way that wasn't in alignment for me or for other people. And being able to look at that with just real vulnerability and honesty, be able to be witnessed in the process of discovering that
Mhm.
uh, was a real gift.
Wow. Yeah, the subconscious. It's so powerful. I thought I put that on silent. Uh, I am curious about the process because one of the things that a friend of mine and I had were having a conversation, and she was talking about the teachings of Gangaji. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she teaches, meditation and discovering the true self and all of this. And one of the things that she was sharing with me, it's like, yeah, in our, and you just said it, like when we're walking the spiritual path, we do have to look at everything that's
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about what is the process of seeing a subconscious. First of all, how do you find the subconscious belief? Because they often are invisible to us. We're just going through life and having our reactions, right? And not really aware that we're having a reaction, or stopping long enough to look and just even acknowledge that, like, okay, I'm in a reactive state or whatever. Like with like if it's people pleasing, like I noticed that within myself. I'm definitely like chronic people pleaser over here, where it's really hard for me to say no to people, to say no, I'm not interested, or whatever, or no thank you, or it's almost like I'm like, oh, but I'm going to disappoint them, and and so like the mind starts, the thoughts that come in, like, oh, well, how can I, and then this, it just gets very sticky. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
if a person is aware that they have people pleasing tendencies, how do you even, it's like, okay, I see it, I see that that's there, how do I get rid of it? Like, how do I dissolve that? I'm curious about the process, and what's the outcome? Like, how do you know that you've overcome it?
Right. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
And what I can tell you is that it is definitely a process. And as with shadow work, my understanding is we're not totally eliminating parts of ourselves or denying parts of ourselves, but rather incorporating and inviting those parts of ourselves so that we can learn to accept them and love them. And so I think
Mm, mm,
my capacity to be able to touch into those shadow parts, that people pleaser in me, or that little girl who needs some validation from the external world to know that she's worthy. Um, and those are accessed through the subconscious, through the hypnotherapeutic processes. And I can share a little bit about that too.
mhm,
And when you do tap into those old belief systems, part of the healing modality walks you through some somatic bridging processes that allow you to figure out where it lives inside of you, in your body,
mm,
how it feels inside of your body. And you can actually engage it, engage the child that had the experience,
mhm,
and through a series of different processes, um, reframe, if you will, but it's more than reframing. Reframing seems like a more lucid, more conscious way. This is really shifting old belief systems. So the idea is to access through the hypnotherapeutic process to be able to access the belief. Where did it come from?
mhm,
When did it start? What was the experience that triggered this? A belief system that I continue to use. And how can I um, create a, a shift in that belief? And so bringing it to the conscious awareness from the subconscious to the conscious mind allows us to, or allowed me to be able to identify the behavior, first of all, and question the belief. Is it true that I am not seen, not heard?
mm,
Well, no, that's not true in all cases. right? And
Yeah.
I have physical, tangible experiences of that in my life. So what I can do as a result of maybe that belief is create a mantra or an affirmation around the new belief that I want to bring forward.
Hmm.
And I put that in place in the forefront of my consciousness. It doesn't replace what happened,
Hmm.
not taking that away necessarily. What I'm doing is I'm introducing something new, a new possibility, and a new way for me to begin believing. And so in when I did my first hypnotherapy sessions, I was blown away because first of all, there's a process that it's through a somatic bridge. Basically, you relax the body in a complete state of relaxation, and through a series of prompts, you arrive at the the space within in your body, in your physical body, of where you feel the energy of that in your body, and you go to that place.
Hmm.
And the guide, the therapist talks you through, you know, what does that feel like? If that had a voice, what would it say? And so you're able to follow all of the leads in to get the information of where it comes from, what the belief is, and then the medicine is to replace that old belief with a new belief, and then bring that forward into the conscious waking life. So
Hmm.
uh, it's a lot. I quit smoking doing this, by the way.
Oh,
And
wow. I
yeah,
can't imagine you being a smoker at all.
well, I grew up in Spain and
Yeah,
everybody
well, Spain,
smokes.
yeah, that's true, man. The Spaniards, they love their cigarettes. Yes,
Yes,
it's true.
yes, we really do. So, yeah. And it was, I mean, I had tried to quit smoking so many times. I can't tell you how many times I tried quitting. And this process, the hypnosis worked.
Wow. I feel like I need help around quitting sugar. That's my advice. If there's cookies sitting on the table, oh, I cannot resist. Oh my goodness.
Get it. I totally,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. The addictions. I mean, they have such a stronghold, right?
I really do. And they're all connected. I believe they're connected to it's it's physiological, yes, but it's also a process because there's process addictions and then there's physical, tangible addictions that we have. And
Oh
it's the
gosh.
thinking that I identified that I was addicted to. You know, one of the reasons I found out that I smoked was I have social anxiety. And here in the United States, you can't smoke inside pretty much anywhere. And so it was a reason for me to leave. It turns out it was a good excuse for me
Oh,
to
so you didn't have to face your social anxiety.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I would take myself and my cigarette outside and smoke, right? And then I didn't have to face the uncomfortable, the discomfort, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so finding out information like that about yourself can be really revealing because I don't want to miss out on connecting with people. I love connecting with people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating. Yes. Oh my gosh. All the things that you're talking about, it's like, yeah, I've definitely have had to deal with social anxiety for sure. Like, being in a room full of people, if it's a party situation, oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
wanna I wanna just go and hang out at the snack table and pretend like I'm busy. Like, yeah, the snack table is really serious. Like, don't talk to me. Oh, yeah. Wow. So cool. Uh yeah, so tell me, so tell me more about the process. If somebody's coming to work with you, how do you where do you start? Like, what's the process? What's the journey?
Mhm. Yes, beautiful question. So the very first thing that I would do is to ask the clients what they want to work on, what they're aware of, where are they consciously,
Yeah.
so that to see if they're tapped into the aspects of whatever they're seeking, and they may not even know that yet. They may not know what they're seeking, and that's okay. But really getting them into understanding what's coming up, what's arising, what are they feeling, and using the feelings to tap into more questioning around what they might want to focus their attention on. And from there, one of the things that I like to do is to gather information
Mm,
about the current state. Where are they in the present moment? Life coaching is really about helping um, people move in from the present moment into forward, if you will.
mhm,
And while we do talk sometimes about things that have happened in the past because they're information, and we use it as information to inform us of how have I been and how do I want to be. And it's also, I want to make a distinction here. It's not therapy in the sense that we're not going back to
mm,
talk about all of what happened and spend a lot of time there. We
mhm,
use it as a framework,
mhm,
and then we build upon the experiences that are lived that have also have the counter positive effect of some of those. So using positive experiences around their success. Where have they had success? And where are their strengths? And so I lean in the very beginning when I first meet a client into their strengths.
mm,
And so there's some different tests that we offer to help them narrow that down and to see how it is that they inform themselves, how they make decisions about different major areas in their lives and where they feel comfortable and where there's discomfort and what are the true strengths of their character and of their emotional state. And once we have a little bit of a blueprint of that to work with, then we can take that and address a specific issue. If it's a relationship issue, or maybe it's a transitional matter that's happening in someone's life, maybe they've just recently separated, they're
mhm,
thinking about divorce, or maybe they already have divorced,
mhm,
or maybe they're transitioning, for example, from into empty nesting. And this is an area that's really near and dear to my heart because it's a lived experience.
mhm.
And also, I understand that everybody has their own unique experience with it. And so my experience will not be the same as someone else's, but to be able to walk them through being able to discover within themselves. So I'm of the belief that we have the answers inside. And if with the right balance of tools and support,
Mm.
um, we can tap into those strengths that we already have within us instead of relying upon mm, external ways all the time to feel better about ourselves, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's like you're talking about, I like what you said. It's like, okay, we all do have a blueprint.
Mhm.
None of us are the same. None of us are good at, some people are more talented and skilled and have, natural gifts in communication, whereas maybe others are much more left brain and they're very good at science and engineering or being analytical or, all these different things.
Mhm.
So, so what I'm hearing you say is like, we're not trying to, you're really focusing on allowing what is like if we're all a seed, then we're just you're giving that seed what it needs in order to naturally
Yeah.
bloom and be, your true self is what you came here to express yourself as. So you're not looking at someone going, well, okay, you need to, you got to get better in, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now, but you know, uh, whatever. It's like just embracing, helping the person embrace who they really are
Yes.
and to value themselves and to see, to really feel that they belong, that they are enough, that they have gifts, that they they're perfect already. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And to learn about what they believe about themselves,
Yeah.
because those are the places where we can all get stuck when we believe we're not enough, or believe we don't belong, or we're not seen, or there's so many different messages that we pick up along the way, and most of them we picked up when we were little.
Yeah.
And some of us walk around with them a lifetime. And to be able to tap into those beliefs and question them, like, is it really true? Do I really believe that? And then
Mm.
be able to physically see how I respond from that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that you are addressing the ego because I remember in my spiritual journey, like I literally was like, I'm gonna kill it. And you can't kill it. That just makes it worse. Oh my gosh, like trying to control the mind, trying to overcome your ego. Like I think what I what I'm hearing, it's like we do have to make friends with it. I mean, we don't want it to run the show, but you also aren't gonna kill it. Like
We can't.
you can't, right? Yeah.
I I don't think that is wise either.
No.
Because we need
No.
it. We need our ego. Our ego helps us stay safe. And if a tiger's coming at it, it's what keeps us from getting eaten. So,
I had someone a friend who was a psychologist,
mm,
therapist, who was very she was great. She was like 80 years old, black belt, karate lady. Like she was a badass and she
mhm.
was so funny. She says, if you didn't have an ego, you wouldn't even be able to wipe your own ass. So you you need an ego. Sorry, you know?
Yes, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah,
And why not befriend? And why not get to know all parts of ourselves? I mean, because we
yeah,
have an ego, we also have a personality. And we're soul as well. So all of those are really beautiful elements, and they all serve a purpose, I think, for our existence here on Earth, at least in this plane in this time.
yeah, yeah. I just love how you approach this, and I feel like it feels very holistic to me. It feels very cultivating that compassion and
Mhm.
deep acceptance of yourself, going at war with yourself.
Yes.
And cultivating that deeper inner peace, which ultimately I think all the things that we chase after, whether
Yeah.
it's money or relationship or, you know, all the things that people are seeking pleasure or they're seeking something, the reality is that we're all seeking peace,
Mhm.
which is all within, like it's never outside of us. And so I love that you're just kind of pointing people back to the truth of who they are and to examine, like really
Yeah.
have to examine what's living in here, right? And getting
It's
and
true.
uprooting it. Yeah.
And it's not something that we are cultured in. Our society and our schooling and
Yeah.
the world that we live in is not offering a path for that unless we go seeking it. Is well, at least that was my experience.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's like, I love Brene Brown's work. Like, we live in a society of shaming. Like, we're constantly told we're not enough. Like, oh, you need this, you're missing that. Like, and chasing after things outside of ourselves, definitely. And so and how do we change the culture? It's by changing ourselves. If enough of us,
Mhm.
are doing that inner work, then we can um, yeah, change. Well, we change ourselves, we change our lives, and it ripples out. But yeah, no, it's definitely not taught in school. Well, in school, you're taught to like, got to get the grades, got to ch chase after those A's. You got to be the good student. There's no,
Because you also have to get a good job so that it's
yeah,
just
all the
this
things. It's just nonstop.
nonstop.
It's
Yes.
nonstop.
Yeah.
So Amy, this has been really beautiful. How can people get a hold of you? What do you offer?
Yes. Thank you. I have a website and people can find me on pathways to purpose coaching.com.
Mhm.
And I have some packages that I offer there for coaching purposes. There's a 12-week package. People can also work with me individually. I also do a free discovery call for people to call and check in to see if it would be a fit to work with me, and how we can really how I can serve, because it is my deep intention and my mission to really be of service, to help somebody on their path, to really get on the path of coming back to themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and on my website, there's a couple of gifts that I have. I have a heart-centered meditation, and also a journal uh, that it's really intended to help folks slow down and reflect a little bit on one's inner desires and inner strengths, and to cultivate inner power. So that's the purpose of it, and I invite anybody who is welcome to go pick that up. I also have a podcast, and you have been my guest as well, and it's Into the Heart, Finding Wisdom Within, and I'm really enjoying meeting people all over the world like you, of like-mindedness and big-heartedness. I'm just really grateful. But that's how people can get a hold of me. I do have an Instagram. Also, it's Pathways to Purpose Life Coach. So
Awesome. And we'll have all the links to that here in the description. And thank you so much for your time, Amy. And thanks to everyone watching. Please like and subscribe, share, if you know of somebody that might benefit from Amy's work, please share it with people that you know and love. And thanks again. And until next time, have a beautiful rest of your day.
thank you.